I'm excited about a lot of things we're going to cover on today's show, specifically National Tamale Day. Tamale Day.
Tamale Day.
Tamale Day. I had the accent when I said that. She called me.
She called me. You know, it's super random in the middle. We found this information. I was like, tamales in March? Like, why?
So I'm actually very excited to see this recipe that you put together, Clarissa, but I must ask. Oh, we've discussed this on the show. Will you eat your tamales with ketchup or not?
I don't put ketchup really on anything. Like, maybe French fries, but that's about it. Usually I've got something really spicy accompanying my meals. My mouth is watering up.
I know, I'm hungry too. This happens every time we talk about food, especially one of your recipes. Yeah. But I am someone who enjoys ketchup with my tamales. I know this is frowned upon. However, can I put ketchup with the recipe that you're going to put together for today's show?
That's up to you, girl. If you like, I mean, I think ketchup is one of those flavors that if you like it, it goes on anything.
Exactly.
For me, that's sriracha. So this might be debatable too. I like sriracha on my tamales. And my current obsession, I just noticed this morning when I was making my breakfast taco, is I just leave it on the counter now because I'm really into the Tabasco scorpion sauce.
Okay, so I'm learning about hot sauces with you all the time.
Girl, it's not your vinegary did I say tobacco or Tabasco? It's not your vinegary Tabasco.
Right.
It's a scorpion pepper, and so it has just a little extra pico. And if you're like me and you like everything needs to be spicy and you've got like serrano peppers in your pockets like me, I'm like, look, I have one right here. It's so good. So I put it on my taquitos, I put it in my soup, and it adds just like a little bit of pico. My mouth is watering as we talk about it.
Of course. I'm not even into spices, and that's already enticing me to want to indulge with some spices with my food. But also, how do you feel about National Tamale Day being now versus the holidays?
I think it's super weird. Maybe it's just like the universe's reminder to start working on that recipe because it can be really difficult.
Or just to enjoy life with whatever you want to eat, even if it's something that you typically eat during the holidays.
I want to pop quiz you. What's the weirdest thing that you've had on a tamale? Can you think of it? Sometimes you just eat it and you're like, I don't even know. I was expecting it to be chicken.
I like to mix cilantro with anything, so maybe cilantro with tamales. I've actually never tried that, so
I feel like there's space to get really creative with tamales. Yesterday we talked about putting fish. Like, I think a salmon tamale might be kind of good if you season it right.
Or the cilantro with the recipe that you're about to show us, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out, guys. Here's our surprise tamale-inspired recipe for Tamale Day. Let's make some tamales in the pressure cooker, believe it or not. First, start by soaking your corn husks in hot water for about 30 minutes. So I went ahead and brought some water to almost a boil and then just turn off the heat and put my husks in there. Here's an ambitious Clarissa thinking that we had the right size bowl and the correct mixer to do all of this in the bowl. This is going to be a tamale don't in just a second. Let's see, 3, 2, and bad idea. Yeah, so we went ahead and opted for the blender, which worked really well. So just push and mix. Very easy, starting with the 1.5 cups of lard and a couple tablespoons of your broth. I went with bone broth because it's good for you. Here I'm mixing all my dry ingredients into a bowl, the comino, salt, your masa, and your baking powder, and give that a good stir. Once we got the lard and broth to a nice texture, we went ahead and slowly added in our masa concoction. And again, you want to add all of these ingredients nice and slow. At that point, we'll add the remaining chicken broth, shred up my other pre-cooked chicken, and let's get rolling. I've done this before. I was feeling pretty confident. I realized I probably should have separated those corn husks to get them very moist. Some parts were dry. I don't think that was a problem here in the creation of these tamales. Now, I tried using this little tool I found at home. This was a little bit difficult, so eventually I switched over to just a flat spatula, but trying to be modest with my chicken here. And I'll tell you now, one lesson I learned, and you'll see why at the end, was not to fold the tamale like a burrito. So here you see me folding half, and then the top, and then the rest of it. Don't do that. So just roll it completely and then fold the top over at the end to keep the structure of your tamale. Fast forward to me doing like 25 more of these before we set them all in the pressure cooker. Okay, so if you're going to cook in your steamer or Instapot, do about 1 cup of water for your Instapot and a few cups for a steamer pot. Do not fill above the steamer rack. This is very important because that's exactly what I did, and my tamales were soggy and uncooked. Why? Because the water got in to the masa, therefore it could not harden. So you'll want to lay a few extra corn husks on the bottom of the rack to keep them from falling through or getting any boiling water directly touching them. So after fail, I had to recook my tamales following the latest instruction that I shared because I did didn't. I put the corn husks on the bottom and I got water everywhere. But here they are. You're gonna see they don't have the full tamale structure because of the way I folded them, but if you do the brochure and then flap over the top at the end, they should look as good as they taste. And let's do the taste test. Honestly, y'all, these did not disappoint. They were really good. I would probably add a few more spices because I like it pico. When I recook, I make them tostada on the stove top. Give this recipe a try, follow the instructions, and let me know how it goes.